Welcome back to Pursuing the Muse. I'm Tom Compton, and today we're talking about the recent vinyl release of the Yayhoos' 2 albums with half the members of the band, Terry Anderson and Eric Ambel. The Yayhoos are a roots rock supergroup featuring former Georgia Satellites frontman Dan Baird, Eric Ambel of The Del-Lords, Terry Anderson of the Olympic Ass Kickin Team, and bassist extradoinaire Keith Christopher. They are known for their loud, unapologetically ragged rock sound. Coming up, you'll hear the chaotic story of recording their debut album, Fear Not the Obvious, live to 8-track in a North Carolina barn. We'll learn how Eric coaxed Keith's stream of consciousness lyrics into a complete finished song, and we'll find out why attending a Yayhoos show was arguably one of the most fun things you could do ever. What are we waiting for? Let's hear from the guys.
What are we waiting for? We didn't come here just to hang around. Now don't be shy and don't be coy. We all know what's going down. And that's all I need to let me know. Like the great one said, and away we go. It'll be alright. So what are we waiting for? I gotta get my thing right as rain. Get it right as rain. 'Cause I got love enough to cover the world. I've been saving up for just one girl. And if you love means anything, I can give you everything.
All right, Tom Compton here. We got a couple of Yayhoos in the studio today, and we are going to talk vinyl. We have Terry Anderson, drummer, singer of the Yayhoos, and Eric Ambel, guitar and singer from the Yayhoos. Terry, how you doing, Terry Anderson?
I'm good. How you doing?
Excellent. And
Good.
we also have Eric Ambel. Eric, how are you?
I'm doing really good, Tom. Thank you for asking.
All right. Oh my gosh, this has been a gift from above, and you know what? We're going to get this podcast out so it can be a Christmas gift for many. But let's talk about what brought about the release of these 2 great albums on vinyl.
Our first record was on Bloodshot, the record Fear Not the Obvious. And, we had that. It was a songwriting session that had been kicking around for a long time. We finally kind of finished it, and the folks from Bloodshot decided to put it out. And, but I don't know if you know, but a few years ago, Bloodshot kind of went out of business.
Was that a champagne bottle?
Yeah. Well, Terry, I can't let you drink alone, so I got this new, the very best champagne stopper that actually works, like you don't have to finish the bottle the first night.
Man, that's pretty cool.
I'll send you the link to the thing.
Okay.
Because I know you could use it.
I'm always trying to celebrate.
Send me the link. I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah. So the Yayhoos, when there's a company called Acceleration Music. This might be a little too much inside baseball, but they have been buying up a lot of labels, and they bought the Bloodshot assets. And when they did that, we had to make a new contract with them because Bloodshot owed us money. So they paid the money, and we made a deal with them for both records, and with the stipulation that they had 2 years to put it out on vinyl, and if they didn't, we would just get it and we could do it ourselves.
Wow.
So then it turned into the whole, back in the day when there was actual record industry, labels had, archives and warehouses and stuff. Like if you were on Atlantic Records and you made a record in 1983, you could get a hold of them and they could find the tapes in some warehouse somewhere,
Yeah, like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Right, but with all these small independent labels, nobody has anything. And they never had it, like we never would have sent them the tapes, because we licensed them the record. More inside baseball. But the good thing is, even though my recording studio has moved 3 times since we did this, I found all the analog tapes for both records. And so we were able to remaster both records from scratch at this guy Paul Gold of Salt Mastering in Greenpoint. He's got a beautiful rig that he literally built all of the gear that's in his mastering console. And Paul Gold, he's in the movie. I haven't seen the Springsteen movie yet, but they used his lathe in the movie, when they were going through the trouble of trying to find somebody who could master Nebraska off a cassette. So
I didn't realize it was originally recorded on cassette.
Nebraska?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was recorded on a Tascam Porta Studio, and then when they mixed it down, all they had was a boombox. They mixed it down to a boombox.
Damn.
That had a built-in compressor,
Damn.
Old school.
Yeah, and
I had one of those Tascams.
Yeah, no, and they tried a million things. I don't know if you read Warren Zane's fantastic book, but I thought I knew a lot about Nebraska until I read Warren Zane's book, and there was even more in there that I didn't know about.
Wow, audio forensics there.
Yeah.
Dang.
But for the Yayhoos, it was really thrilling when I actually found those tapes, and because moving a recording studio 3 times, and the tapes are so cumbersome, and it's hard to get the clients to pick them up, and it just felt like a real stroke of luck. And also, mastering has come a long ways. When these records were released, the style of mastering wasn't quite as full sounding as it is today, or as it can be today. And I've had a lot of people get a hold of me and say, "Did you remix that record?" And it's like, "No, we didn't. It's just remastered, it's just Paul did a really good job." And technically, the first record, we did it at Terry's dad's barn, and with just one 8-track ADAT. And the second record is at my studio with the full 24-track setup. So the sonics couldn't be more different, but the band sounds the same on both of them,
Yeah.
It's funny.
But records are mastered differently than CDs anyway. So,
well, it's a similar process, that has, there's a little bit difference at the end, when there's still like mastering is done in the digital realm, but then when it goes to the lathe, there's one thing that the CD requires, a thing called a brick wall limiter, and when they do the audio for the vinyl, they skip the brick wall limiter, and then the guy does have to cut he does have to cut, the grooves into the acetate,
Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Does it, without the limiter, is it like instantly more dynamic?
It's, the brick wall limiter in digital going over is not satisfying, where in the analog world going over is exciting,
Yeah.
So, without the brick wall limiter, it's not like a holy shit difference, but it is a difference,
Yeah. Yeah. Terry, have you heard the vinyl yet?
Oh yeah.
What do you think of the sound?
I fucking love it. Kicks ass.
Yeah. These songs have never sounded better. So
I know. Yep.
a job well done.
Yep.
Well, thank Paul. He really, I've worked with Paul on a lot of stuff over the years, and he, he's just like mastering guys. They're all different. And Paul is like a super dedicated nut in that he's spent the last 20 or 25 years not only, developing his craft, but like I said, he built all the components that are in his mastering console. He built them all from scratch.
Wow.
You can
That's
look
dedication.
Yeah, you can look him up on Instagram, Salt Mastering, and you can see some crazy, homemade Hudsucker proxy looking stuff,
I love the deep cut reference. Yes. So, given that we have this gift, for those maybe the one or two out there who might not be familiar with the Yayhoos, Terry, what's your story, the origin story of the Yayhoos? How did you guys come together originally?
Well, Dan and I were writing songs for his what's that record called? Something about
Love Songs for the Ear.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. We were writing songs for that, and we kind of said, well, we need some help here. So we called in Roskilde, and he came down to Kentucky. And so we wrote some songs there. And Dan had an amazing sounding building. It was just like a cement block, what was it, like 12 by 12 or something, Roskilde?
Yeah, it was it was an old wooden outbuilding that he had put cement on the inside. It was like, I mean, when people throw around the phrase man cave, this was a man cave.
Yeah. You had to walk out there from the house, and it was, a pretty good walk, but you could make all the noise you wanted to out there. And
at any time of the day or night.
At any time. Nobody would ever hear you.
Cops ain't showing up.
Nope.
Oh,
Nice.
Nope. But yeah, we called Roscoe, and he came down one weekend, and we had a blast and wrote some songs, and I think one or two ended up on the record. But we wrote that
at one point, Dan, it was the three of us were working on these songs, and Dan was like, if we got Keith Christopher, we'd have a band, and there is on one of my records, there's a song that it was actually recorded on the cassette 4-track Porta Studio, the same thing that Nebraska, the song Feels So Good. That's from that session, and actually it was a 3-track because track 4 didn't work.
Right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Got to make the most of what you got there.
But then what happened is, so Terry Terry and I were both had solo records that were coming out on East Side Digital, right, Terry?
Yep.
And Dan was signed to the Bearded One, Rick Rubin's label, and the super producer who's now like a super producer, Brendan O'Brien. He was an old friend of Dan's from the Atlanta days. He had produced Dan's solo record for Rick Rubin, and just before Dan's record came out, Sony offered Brendan O'Brien his own label, and so that upset the Bearded One, and then the Bearded One pulled the tour support for Dan's record. So the Yayhoos were sort of called into action because we all had a record coming out, and none of us had, shit for a record company.
Yeah, that's the truth.
So we became a sort of a co-op, we went out there and we used Dan's name because it was the biggest, but we were playing songs off all our records, and that got us out there playing gigs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Fat Lady in the Stands was recorded out there.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So what year was this?
I think the earliest stuff was around 92. That's when that songwriting session,
Right.
And then we may have done a few gigs and some touring as, at first it was Dan Baird and the Yayhoos, and then it became the Yayhoos.
Right. I thought Dan's record came out in 92.
That sounds about right, because
That's possible.
It might have been 91. So,
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
But then, so by 96, I had the Lakeside Lounge, and, we were still doing, Dan used to call the band like everybody's favorite other band, because we all had our own band. But, we were trying to do some more Yayhoos action, and the guy who signed the Georgia Satellites to their deal at Elektra, his name is Howard Thompson, and my partner at the Lakeside, the Hound, had a band called the Pristines, and Howard had a label, and he was signing the Pristines and everything, and so we asked him about the Yayhoos, and back in the day they had this thing called a development deal, where a label would give you some dough, to go and record a few songs, and then they would run it up the flagpole at the label to see if anybody liked it, And typically that would be like $5,000. But, so Howard said, okay, I'll give you guys $5,000. And we talked amongst ourselves, and we knew that there was no way Howard was going to sign us. So instead of going to an expensive studio to cut 3 songs, we took the $5,000 and blocked off a week and went down to Terry's dad's, and I brought the equipment that I had, and Terry had some equipment, and we got some from a music store. I mean, you can see on the inside of Fear Not the Obvious, there's not much equipment there, but we had the week for us to write songs and record them.
We rented an ADAT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And one blackface ADAT. And it's funny that we're, right now the three of us are we're talking to each other through the modern technology, and the World Series is on. When we were making this recording, the playoffs were on.
Yeah. That's
So-
right.
So there was a lot of time when and me and Keith were less interested in the playoffs than Dan and Terry. I think the Braves were involved, and it was a
Yeah,
big
the
deal.
Braves were in it.
Yeah, that was the Braves era back in the 90s, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, there was things that me and Keith got done while those guys were watching baseball.
Yeah. Like when Keith Richards recorded Happy when Mick was nowhere around.
But the space was pretty crazy. My dad had a barn attached to his house, which had the horses. They would come up and they would stick their head in, and my dad would feed them right there. He wouldn't even have to go outside, and so it was just a big cement slab. And what do you think? It was like 20 by 14 or something like that, maybe.
I think it was bigger than that, and and it had the barn aspect where there was barn doors. So, it opened on one side and it was open on the other. And it didn't have real high ceilings because it had been sheetrocked and finished in there, but it was the concrete floor, and I know there's pictures of like the water heater for the house and stuff like that.
There's a standard door at the back, and then the big barn doors up front that you could just open up, and we would walk around out there, and Dan and Keith would smoke, and we just throw lines back and forth to each other.
Yeah, we had a lot of legal pads. We had a whole stack of legal pads.
Did you bring any songs in with you, or was it all writing on the spot?
Most of it was just on the fly.
Some we might have come in with a title of something or a lick, but then we'd work on it together and get it done. One of the funny ones with the Keith, his song For Crying Out Loud, that was, we put the track down, and then Dan and Terry are they're watching baseball, and I just had him, the whole band took up 5 tracks, I think, and then we had 3 left over. And so I just had Keith just say anything that was in his mind.
Yeah, he kind of sang it, but just emoted shit. And then we had to figure out what the fuck he was saying.
Yeah, so then I wrote it all down. And then, it's not like it was actual cut and paste, but not virtual cut and paste. Like there's lines that didn't make it, like she keeps a sheep's head in her closet, I don't think that one made it, but, we, out of his 3 takes of mumble tracks, we were able to, make a song out of it,
Yeah, you're like channeling something from another dimension.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's awesome.
Nick Keith had to sing it for the next, 10, 12 years or something.
I'm sure it's played the same every time.
Oh, man.
So, was it cold in the barn? I'm just because you're talking baseball season.
Oh, no, it was fine.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's Raleigh. It's it's like what's town was your dad's house in, Terry?
Lewisburg.
Lewisburg.
Yeah.
And then
that's north of Raleigh.
And then Terry, that's where you eventually had the truffle trees, right?
Yeah, we had truffles, and they got blight. The hazelnut trees got blight and killed all the truffles and everything. We didn't get much truffles, but yeah, we tried.
So what year did Fear Not the Obvious come out?
Well, it came out in 2001.
Okay.
And it came out at a funny time. We had the guys had flown into town, and we had booked a tour, and the whole thing was built around the CMJ Music Festival, you know, and the guys got into town the night before we had a photo session with the famous woman Yvette Roberts at the studio. We were going to rehearse and everything, but the guys got into town on September the 10th.
Yeah.
So
2001.
we all woke up, you know, to the same thing the next day. You know, Terry was staying at my house, and I had just gotten a new coffee machine, which was rated number 1 by the New York Times, and it had a timer to you know, to start, you know, you could say start making coffee at 8:00, you know, and I heard that thing start up from my bedroom, and it looked like a beautiful day, and then boom.
It was a gorgeous day.
Yeah.
You had the windows open, and it was like just a perfect day.
But then you could hear the impact pretty clearly.
Well, it sounded like somebody dropping a dumpster.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first, because there was construction going on my block, and we turned on the TV, and of course all hell was breaking loose. You know, there's pictures of us up on the roof, and it kind of set the tone. You know, nobody really knew how heavy it was right away. I mean, it was hard to fathom. You know, we went out to the studio. We took my car, which was really funny, you know, because we ended up using the car. We ended up doing these dates, but they were shutting down all the roads and shutting down the bridges. But I had this Suburban that was like a plain wrap. It was the same color as Tony Soprano's, you know, like a maroon Suburban, and we just got waved through every checkpoint, because here we were, like 4 white guys in their 40s, and we didn't look like cops. We looked like their boss, you know? And I mean, like literally the world is getting blown up, and they're looking at us through the windshield and waving us through, like, you guys go ahead, you know? And it happened more than once. It happened in D.C. too, later, you know, a few days later, when we finally played a gig. You know, everyone was standing around trying to figure out what happened to the whole world.
Boston, wasn't it?
Well, the first one we played was New York City, and we played the gig at Brownie's, and then we gave all the money to the fire station, you know, because these were like our customers and people that we knew, you know. So it was a very odd time to release a record.
Yeah, it was a pretty dreary rehearsal we had that day, that September 11th.
Yeah.
We had rehearsed because we hadn't seen each other or played with each other in, I don't know, a year or so. So it had been a long time, so we had to rehearse. So, but it was still everybody was kind of, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Wow.
I remember taking a phone call from the label, and they were like, well, I guess we're not coming, you know. It was like, I mean, bands all over the world were on their way there or just got there, you know, because the CMJ thing was a big deal, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was surreal times for sure.
And Yvette Roberts, you know, like, I've met her several times. You know, she's like one of the foremost rock photographers of all time, you know, and we were going to get an Yvette Roberts photo shoot downstairs at my studio. And, you know, she called, you know, the studio had a landline, because that's what back then, you had a landline. She called up. It's like, well, I guess we're not doing this today. It's like, yeah, I don't think so. But I still, I keep in touch with Yvette Roberts because it was a great thing that we missed, It's
kind of a strange bonding.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I remember in 2001 first hearing about the Yayhoos because there was an NPR story. Do you guys remember that at all? Because it was like, oh my God, I didn't know this was happening. And
was that the one we did in Kentucky? Roskilde?
I don't remember. I don't know. Was it an interview or what kind of a thing was it, Tom?
I mean, that's like 24 years ago. So it's like, all I remember is like, I have to take note of this.
Okay.
And that got you guys on my radar, which led me to tracking down the album. So, because the CD was out at that point. So
I think that's the one we did Frozen Head. We did Frozen Head in the studio.
Oh, okay.
And it was in Kentucky.
Aha.
Yes. Is Frozen Head, Eric, that's on one of your records, right?
It's on all of our records. It's, Dan put it on his record. I put it on mine. Terry put it on his. And it's the exact same recording. And that's from that songwriting session in 91 or whatever from Dan's Rock House,
Okay.
And we just all put it on there. And then, and there was, every once in a while, there was like, can you do that? And it's like, well, why not? It's ours.
Well, we did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were driving through West Virginia, and there was this big sign that said Frozen Head State Park. So I said, shit, we got to write a song now. So we just started hollering that shit out.
Yeah.
Did you stop to see it? Did you stop to see the Frozen Head?
No, we didn't. We had to be somewhere.
I've gotten off the exit a few times in the years past, and a lot of people, it's one of those things where people go, you won't believe where I'm at, like, but, I've been to the Burger King there and I've gotten gas right there by Frozen Head State Park.
Brush with greatness right there.
Yeah.
But it just brings up so many questions, Like, I wonder what they did with the body.
And that's what the whole song was made for.
Yeah.
It was great.
It's a classic.
Oh my goodness.
So, and then you guys went on tour, and I've seen the Yayhoos maybe 3, maybe 4 times, both supporting both albums. And one of the things about you guys is you had so much fun on stage. It was like contagious. I mean, the Yayhoos show was like one of the most fun events of all time, and I don't know if it's the chemistry or what, but man, just super fun.
What the hell are you doing it for? I mean, that's the main reason.
Yeah, it's like none of us ever wanted a job, So
it's celebrating not having to do a day job.
Right. And we would have like 3 songs, the first 3 songs, and then we'd just go up there, and with all of us having so many songs, and it would just be, well, now it's your turn, and like I called it kind of a relay race, and those guys, for me, when I was doing my tune, I just never felt more supported. Like those guys we would get in there and fucking really help the other guy out when it was their turn. That was our mission,
Yeah, 4 pros, that's for sure. I remember seeing you guys at Shuba's, and like river dance was like a thing back then. and you guys would say, "Oh, we're gonna show you crick dancing,"
Yeah.
and then like Keith and I don't maybe Keith and Terry or who?
No, it was me and Dan.
It's you and Dan.
Yeah, it was me and Dan crick dancing.
Oh my God.
It was kind of based on Granny, the Beverly Hillbillies. It's kind of based on her dance moves.
It just it's out of nowhere, it's just beautiful. I mean, it's just epitomizes everything about the energy and the fun that the Yayhoos were about.
And there was always a packed house. That was always what was so great about it. And we played some gigs in Europe that were just you couldn't breathe in there.
Yeah, the first time we were over there after the record, we were in Spain, and it was one of these kind of days where we had to fucking drive to get to this gig. And we get there, it's really late, and the gigs start really late anyway. And we're playing in this place that was, I'm not exaggerating, it was some kind of like fallout shelter, like it was underground, and, the crowd was already there. We had to hustle up and get our equipment on there. And we go to do our song, What Are We Waiting For? We go, and the whole crowd goes, why are we waiting? And we're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
It was insane.
And it was like that the whole night. They were singing along to all the songs.
Yeah, it was something else.
I think that was the gig where we were driving and the winds were like 50, 60 miles an hour, and we were getting blown all over the road. And, at one time I felt like we were up on two wheels.
Yeah, and it was one of those vans where it had the extended top and everything. So it was a sail. It was basically a sail.
Basically what it was.
But yeah,
there's a hazard there.
Shit. I was scared, actually. I was a little bit scared.
So at what point did you guys decide to do a second album? What brought that about?
I don't know. The first album, it felt like it did pretty good. People liked it. And, by the time, this time, I had my studio, and, so we got a hold of, our buddy Bullethead. He was our manager. So, and the first record, we had several songs from that record that were placed in films, like I had the Baby I Love You in the movie Slither. And Terry, didn't you guys have one that wasn't there a song in like, what was the movie that had, you guys had, I forget what song.
Oh, shit.
Some Patrick Swayze movie or something, Yeah. What I'm getting at is Bloodshot certainly made their money back. Like we didn't cost them anything. We didn't charge them that much in the first place. And so we sent, I went over it with Bullethead. Well, okay, we need X amount of dollars to make this work. And Nan, who, was the biggest supporter of Jan, we never could have had a record without her. After she got by this time it's email, she was like, I have received your hostage demands. And they passed on the record, but this was also, 2005, 2006 was this small window before streaming had really taken over. And, I realized, well, if we just made it ourselves and put the word out, we could sell some, you know? So that's what we did with the second record, you know? But this time we got together on our own and we were at my studio, but we did similar songwriting where we, you know, we would come in with some ideas, but we finished the songs together, you know? Some of them we had played.
Yeah, I think you were working on a bass part or something, and me and Dan were out there in the lobby, and we wrote "Fitting to Do" while we were out there. Just popped it up.
Yeah.
You know, just
Yeah,
popped
it was, and there was like that dulcitar thing with "Right as Rain."
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, Dan had the idea to do the Southern rock song, you know, so we did Rome by B-52s. And, you know, there was a lot of stuff like that. I had this lick kicking around for the song that became Between You and Me, which it was just like an instrumental thing that I had. And at one point I had tried to give that music to Steve Earle when I was playing with him, and luckily he never said anything about it. But those guys helped me finish the song, you know. That's what I mean. Like you know, I've worked with a lot of bands, but I just never, I've never gotten as much help from the other guys that I was playing with as the Yayhoos. And I've almost never seen, you know, I've seen a lot of bands working in situations, and I've just never seen other people pitch in and to help the other guys, you know. 'Cause, you know, after that Beatles Get Back thing, you know, that was a really great movie, and a lot of people don't know how bands work, you know, and that was really cool to show a band actually working. And you know, with the Beatles, it was just the four of them, you know, so they needed and wanted each other's help, you know, and that's what, you know, we're all of the generation that the Beatles were the band that blew our mind in the first place. And, you know, even though, like, you know, when we were in the, you know, with that, when I mentioned that record company guy not wanting to sign the Yayhoos, that was part of it was because we had more than one singer. It's like, well, what's so crazy about that? Fucking Beatles did it, you know? So, it was, it's really something else. I mean, I still can't believe that we actually have the music out on vinyl, you know?
And I really like the pictures that is on the first record that you've put in that were extra.
Well, the artwork for the first record was completely lost. So it was me and this guy from the new Bloodshot. And, you know, I actually have all these snapshots from this throwaway camera that I used to get. And I found all those fucking pictures, and we kind of, the only one that we didn't have was the Polaroid on the back. And that we had to we had to just blow that up as best
Lift
as
it off
we
the
could.
single. Yeah.
But I mean, the if you look at the front cover, it looks exactly the same. And it's like I found the picture that I had taken, you know?
What is that painting of the woman? Is there any story to that?
Well, it's just hanging on over my dad's bed. If you want to know what kind of dude my dad was.
Carl.
Carl. Yep.
Did she have a name?
I don't think so.
No.
I think by the time we had got to the end of the record, I think he was about tired of us.
Yeah.
But you know what? He probably was happy that, I was happy and you guys were happy. So he was just that kind of guy. So
Yeah. It was good. I mean, we were only there. Must have been, 5 days or something.
that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
That's all we had money for. And then me and Keith had to drive back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been 9 years since he's been gone. Since it was the 26th, which was Sunday or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So, how long's your dad been gone, Tom?
He passed in 2016, so about the same, 9 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was the biggest Cubs fan, and he died like 9 months before the Cubs won the World Series.
That's crazy.
I have his scorecard from the 1945 World Series Game 7 against the Detroit Tigers.
Jesus.
He was keeping score, and that was as close as he got.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, my dad went in 2010, and I have in my nightstand, I have a bag of ashes that I just have not been back to Norway in all this time. But I know I'll go there because we used to play there all the time. So I'm saving them, to throw them in the water in Oslo,
There you go.
Nice. Hey, Eric, you were mentioning the dulcitar. Can you describe what that is?
Well, this guy who's a music nut, this guy Robert Becker, he was a big friend of the band. He met this guy who used to work at Gibson in Nashville, and this guy started making these instruments, and the dulcimer is sort of it's an old instrument, and it has a scale built into it. It's not chromatic, so you have to play songs that are in that scale, like a major scale. But he made this instrument, but the dulcimer is played on your lap. You put it on your lap and you fret over the neck. So he made this instrument that could go on a guitar strap and you could play standing up. So it's 3 pairs of strings. 2 of them are octaves and 1 is unison. And you can either tune it in fourths or fifths. And it just has an immediate sound. As soon as you start playing it, it's like
it sounds cool.
Yeah, it sets up a vibe. Like I'll send you. I have a YouTube playlist of a lot of the records that I've used it on over the years.
Yeah,
and it just this guy Robert Becker, he gave me one, and then he gave me another one, and the guy who made them was an absolute nut. But the really funny part of the whole thing is that everything in that instrument came out of the Gibson dumpster. Like all the wood, the hardware, everything. He would just on his way when he was leaving the building, if it was something good, he'd put it in his truck. And that's how he got the, everything that he made his instruments out of,
So cool.
Yeah, it's still I played it with Mary Lee on one of her songs the other day on a gig, and it was just just as soon as you start doing it, it just pops up.
It's a nice tool to have in your toolbox.
Yeah, and with the dulcitar, the good thing about that is that if you use it with the CAFO, so you don't have to be in the major key all the time. If you capo it on the second dulcitar fret, then all of a sudden you're in the pentatonic scale. So you could be doing sort of a minor, it doesn't have to be the happy note all the time. Where the one that you do on your lap, you're kind of stuck in the happy note,
Right. So Terry, what's your favorite thing about playing with Eric?
Well, I love the solos because you never know where it's going to go, but it always goes to the right place. And it's just a blast. I don't know.
Oh man, the solos. I gotta say,
it's always good and loud. It's always a perfect amount of loud. So I love that.
I want to say that Never Give an Inch, Eric. Your solo on there is just a piece of artwork. It's just so perfect.
Well, that one. So we were on that one. It's the first half is Dan and the second half is me. And
okay.
And we were on
the hammer-ons and the pull-offs.
Yeah, and we were on 2-inch tape, and we didn't have an extra track, so like he played, and then I punched in right on the same thing with my, like I had one shot to do it,
You nailed it. You nailed it.
Thank you.
Oh man. And so it's fair play, Eric. What's your favorite thing about playing with Terry?
Well, Terry, he's got these signature fills where it's like he's punishing the drums, and he's slapping the shit out of them. When he came to my place and I had this cheap ass piccolo snare drum, and Terry was like, love that. He's just smacking the snot out of that drum. He went and got one, the same one that I have. And then recently I was talking to another drummer buddy about Terry because this piccolo snare drum, it was so small that Terry figured out he could put it in his cymbal bag, so he was only carrying one bag, And before I met Terry, Dan, when we're going to have this get together at the Rock House, he was like, well, let's get Terry, we'll never get stuck if we have Terry. We'll never get stuck for a line, and that's true. So.
Oh, well, that's what I do these days is just write songs. But I have lost the last 3 years of my writings. My notes went out, and I lost the last 3 years on October 4th. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, but luckily, most of the good songs I had already recorded or laid down a track and sang a scratch too. So,
what you had a hard drive go down or something?
Well, in my phone just fucking just went crazy, and what I did, I accidentally erased Jack's his contact, and so we got back in there and figured out how to get it back. And so when we did that, I was looking to make sure everything was there. Well, I got to my notes, and the last thing in there was from July 22.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and I went through all that shit with Apple support and the people at the Apple store, and everybody tried everything, and so I think it's gone. But like I say, most of the good stuff I've recorded. So I probably got 40, 45 songs recorded that aren't out yet.
Uh-huh.
And you've played on a couple.
I'm ready whenever you ask. I'm ready.
Yeah, you played on it, and Dan played on one. So, and you played on that that song for Kamala Harris that I wrote.
Oh yeah, that was a great one.
That was a good song too, man.
I know. I wish we could have used that.
God damn. Yeah.
We were ready. We were ready.
Yes, we were.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's what I do. I just write songs all the time now and walk my dog and go record, over at Jack's. Jack's got a good rig over there now, and he's got Wes. Wes came in and set it all up and got it sounding good in there. So
And that's what Tom...
he helped you through this.
Yeah, Terry's talking about Wes Lachot, who's like a world-famous studio designer. And when I was thinking about getting a new console at Cowboy Technical, I was looking at, the big names are Neve, API, SSL, and I kept going back to this article in Tape Op magazine about this API 2448. I must have read it like 3 times, and then I noticed it was by Wes Lachot, and I don't know if I texted or called Terry. I was like, "Hey, do you know Wes Lachot?" He's like, "Fuck, he just played on my record last week." And then I was on the phone with Wes Lachot like a half an hour later, and I got something that I never could have got if I went straight to API, because he's built studios all over the world. He's got his own furniture people and his own wiring people, and he's like a incredible resource that happens to be there in the triangle.
Yeah, and he builds studios all over the world. So go to weslachot.com. It's Wes, WESLACHOT.
Oh, okay. That would have been about my 10th guess at the spelling. But.
Right. But
and he plays like any instrument. Here, I'm texting you the link. He plays like keyboards. He can play bass. He plays
shit out of piano.
Yeah, he's a good musician and a good dude. He's got he builds these super fancy places all over the world, but he's got a studio that's a more low to the ground place called Overdub Lane is that in Raleigh or Chapel Hill?
It's in kind of closer to Durham, but it's it's like between Durham and Chapel Hill.
Yeah, and he's got the same console, the API that I've got in there. That was an incredible resource, and I wouldn't have got it without asking Terry. And there was you remember this year, there was a freak snowstorm that hit down south, in January or February. I mean,
there was one in January, I think.
And the guy, I had an appointment to have a video call with the head guy at API, and they're in Maryland or Virginia, and they got snowed in really bad, and the guy couldn't get to work, and that's when I got a hold of Wes Lachot. So it was act of God, fucking weather thing, and Terry, all these things came together to help me out.
Yeah, that was funny. I just went to Wes's studio and recorded some vocals for his record. He's got some great songs. He's got songs that kind of sound like, Brian Wilson. It's fucking great shit. But
well, it made sense that he was out playing keyboards with the DBs, so I didn't get to see him.
Yeah.
But it totally made sense that he would be doing that.
He just got back from playing bass with Chris Stamey.
Right on.
He went out and played bass with him.
Because how old is he?
Maybe 2 or 3 years older than me, maybe, close to 70.
All right. Still got some life in him.
Oh yeah, he's still kicking.
Nice.
Oh yeah, he's got it going.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Did he come to your studio?
he's never been, he sent his guys up here, and we've talked a million times on the phone and sent videos and stuff, but I've been staying in touch because, he's building a couple really big studios up here, and I think his in-laws are in Long Island also. So I was just talking to him about having him come by to see the place because everybody's so excited.
You mentioned him in that Sweetwater thing.
Yeah, and the video walkthrough, I mentioned him because he was so helpful,
Would you tell Tom about that?
Oh, there's this guy, Andrew Masters, who does like recording studio walkthrough tours. I'm going to send you the link. He did a video walkthrough of our studio, and on YouTube, and it's got like 20,000 views. I'm looking at it right now. It's like, so
I see how the sausage is made.
Yeah. Well, our place is kind of unique because it's not, in New York City, we don't have a lot of room. So, the console is right in there with the drums, kind of like the way people record at home. Only we got like the kick-ass world-class gear, so.
And you got the big ceiling.
Yeah, we got 17-foot ceilings. And it's really nice to have that video when, I'm not using it to like get more jobs, but when I'm talking to somebody on the phone who's not from town, they can have a look and walk through with us.
A nice sizzle reel.
Yeah.
So are you in Manhattan or Brooklyn?
I live in Clinton Hill, Brooklyn, and the recording studio is in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, which is Greenpoint is up the river from Williamsburg. And
have you got the restoration of your new place? Of your place?
The apartment.
Finished?
Yeah, we got the bathrooms done, the double bathroom renovation.
It's ready for you to visit, Terry.
I'm ready. Yeah. I got to go to Japan first.
Nice. So you're going in a week or so?
Yeah, exactly 2 weeks from today.
Wow. Nice. Where are you going, Terry?
Well, we're going to start in Tokyo. We're going up the west coast, and go towards Fuji, and then come back down. And my daughter knows. She taught herself fluent Japanese. She could talk to anybody in Japanese.
That's amazing.
So, tell me. But she's really smart, and so she'll be, the person doing all the talking.
You nod and smile, and
no, I'm not going to do like my old guitar player when we played in England, and we traveled with this girl Marty Jones on A&M Records, and so we would fly to each gig. We would fly, we'd be in Stockholm one night and Venice the next night. But there was one time when we were at a restaurant, it just one of those non-English speaking places, and it just started talking louder.
Right. Yes, that's what's required.
Yeah. They were like, what? And he was, da, 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 da. But it was just hilarious. You'd have had to been there.
Yeah. Well, we've all seen it. We've all seen it happen.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's in Scandinavia, it's easy to spot the Americans. You can hear them across the restaurant yelling, "Sauce on the side."
Louder and slower. That does it.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did.
Put the sauce on the side.
Yeah, so a little pantomime action of sauce.
Everything there is floating, Yeah. It's all about the sauce.
Oh boy.
So
yeah, so I'm I'm looking forward to getting out of the country again. I just went to Canada for 2 weeks, and that was a blast.
Oh, where'd you go?
We went Toronto for 4 days, went to Montreal for 5, and then we went to fucking Newfoundland. That was a fucking blast.
Oh, yeah.
That fucking place was amazing. We went to Tablelands, which is this place. It's a geological, just, it's a place, that you just wouldn't believe. The second layer of the earth came up and flipped over. And, but it's amazing. But anyway, we went there for 5 days, and then we flew out to Vancouver for like 4 days. Had a blast out there.
Oh, moly.
Yeah, we had a great time.
Wow.
Way to do it, man.
Yep. Yes, sir. We're going to do it in Japan if we can get off the ground,
Oh yeah, the TSA.
Yeah. Yeah. No telling.
Oh man.
But
Fingers crossed.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or take a train to Canada and fly from Canada.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
But we're flying out of Chicago.
Nice.
Yep.
There you go.
14 hours from Chicago to Tokyo.
Wow. That doesn't seem too bad. I would have thought it would be more.
Right. Well, I've never been in a plane longer than 8 hours. Didn't we have a 8-hour flight from somewhere, Roskilde?
Yeah, when I was playing with Steve, I went to Australia 3 or 4 times, and that was the long one. That's long. There's
like 22 hours.
It doesn't matter which way you go; it's a long one. Yeah.
Right. All right. Before we wrap things up, guys, what was your most memorable, your favorite gig with the Yayhoos?
That's a hard
I'm
one.
going to say when we did Weekend in Europe, we went and we flew to Portugal. And then, Dan came in like right before the gig started. He got held up somewhere, and we came in. And then the next day was in Holland. Amsterdam. No, it wasn't Amsterdam. It was
Michigan.
No, it was somewhere in the Netherlands. But that was the greatest, most fun gig. Because I started off with I saw Jesus in the alley yesterday. So I was up there playing Dan's guitar and singing that song. That's how the gig started, okay? And then I handed the guitar to Dan, and then he went into Younger Face, and it just kicked ass. And
what was the venue like?
Oh, it was a circus tent.
Yeah, big festival,
Yeah, like 7,000 people. There's a giant circus tent.
Sweet.
And then we went over to watch Neil Young play on the Rolling Stones 75 stage.
Oh, yeah, that's at Roskilde.
Yeah.
That's Roskilde. Yeah.
That was Roskilde, yeah.
Yeah, that's a famous festival.
So we didn't do that. But that was a fun gig, too.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just, we kicked ass anyway.
Eric, how about you?
So many of them, the little gigs, like, to me, like that gig that we played, 3 or 4 days after September 11th, that was kind of wild. We didn't there was no preaching or anything. It was just, about getting everybody together and, loving each other and having a good time, and that was like, that really was what the band was about,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
a couple years ago, it was like you guys had like a farewell doing a cruise thing, the Outlaw Was it the Outlaw Country Cruise?
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun.
Did it feel like this is a farewell?
Not really.
Well, we just can't really. We can't get in a van and try to go around and have somebody go, why don't you play Atlanta? It's like we just played Atlanta. We just can't do that. And those music cruises, I don't know if you've ever been on one, but those things are awesome, because it's like all your friends are on there playing. You get to see great people, you get to play. They have really pro backline. It's just kind of low impact on the musicians. It's so I like, who knows if we'll ever play again, but something like that would probably be one of the only ways.
Right. They make it easier for you, and then
it
helps everybody.
Yeah.
And people, get up and play with other people that, they might know a song or played the song on their record, and they get up and,
it's totally different. It's a unique experience because, when you're on a big festival and there's a bunch of bands that you only get to see the band before you and the band after, because you got to be in another town on the next day. And when you're on one of those music cruises, everybody's on the boat for 5 days, and nobody has to drive.
Yeah. All right, you sold me. Sign me up.
Yeah. I think there's still some tickets left for next year's Outlaw cruise.
Yeah, I gotta get on one of those.
So yeah, it's a good time.
All right, guys. So thank you so much for coming on. Let's talk about the product again. We got the Yayhoos, Fear Not the Obvious on vinyl. We got the Yayhoos, Put the Hammer Down on vinyl. They sound glorious. I highly recommend. They make a good Christmas gift. So.
Yeah, get them while you can, because I think we went through the first pressing on Fear Not, but I don't know how much. It's not going to be available forever, so get it while you can.
Yeah. Well worth it to the effort.
There you go.
All right, you guys have
thank you, Tom.
Oh, yeah, my pleasure. Gosh, it's really an honor to talk. I mean, the funnest shows that I've ever seen have been the Yayhoos, though. It is more than an honor to talk to you guys. I mean, it's like I'm hoping some of your greatness just rubs off on me through the internet. But, so, you got any last things you want to mention, or you going on your own on the side, or?
Nope, I'm just sitting over here writing songs.
Me too. I got records coming out all the time, by the people I produced. Go to ericambel.com or follow me on the Instagram, and so you can see cat pictures.
Evie, what's Evie up to?
She's reclining.
How old is Evie now?
She's 16, but she still looks like a little kitty.
That's crazy.
She's doing great.
That's awesome.
Her back's better than yours right now.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure.
All right. Well, thank you, guys. It's been a treat. Oh, my gosh. Love it. Love it so much. So.
All right.
Well, thank you, too, Tom.
I'll see you soon.
Yeah. All right. You too. Have fun in Japan.
Okay.
All right. See you guys later.